All right. Hello, everybody. Hernan, your tour guide in this road trip. Are you guys there? If you see me and you know it, clap your hands.
Oh, no.
All right. Muy bien. I like it when my friends show up. By the way, you do know that this is important, no? Networking, showing your face is part of how we build relationships. Importante in our network. So I will wait for everybody to show their face. Oh, Lía, Taina. Lía y Taina, las dos. Live from the DR or from New York. Where are you? ¿Dónde tú estás? I see the Italian. I see Nicole. I remember you.
Hey.
And Nico. Nico and Nicole. That's why you raised your hand, because you thought I was talking about you. Brisa Massini. Rayo. Bueno. Let's give it a few more minutes before more brave people show up.
Hola a todos.
Hello, Lou.
Qué gusto conocerlos.
¿Cómo están?
Bien.
So we have our guest speaker already here, Mr. Milton Santiago, in a relaxed state, but do not be fooled by his relaxed state. This guy is nothing but relaxed, except on the weekends. Maybe. Si Nilda te deja. Right? We got Alex from FIU, right? I believe so, no?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Ronaldo.
Hey,
Dímelo.
¿cómo están?
Bien, ¿y usted?
Bueno,
Ian
usted mismo.
Ramírez, Boricua. Boricuas al poder. Chacho, nene. ¿Quién más? Any more brave souls? Mo Hassan. I love it.
Hey.
Reina.
Good afternoon.
Carla. Oh my God. This is
Hello.
a phenomenal crowd. People keep popping up. I like it. Where's my Italian? I see my Italian, but he doesn't want to show his face. He's a little shy today. I don't know.
Hi everyone. Oh, sorry. I thought I had.
There.
had my video on.
Noleggiare qualcosa di bere.
Yeah,
Una
it's quite
birra
late
estera.
here, so pardon me.
How are you guys? Good. Abril en junio estamos, pero abril siempre llega a tiempo. By the way, you guys are going to learn Italian, Spanish, Portuguese. Nicole is a Portuguese teacher, so she can teach us some words. Some Bangladeshi. Say a few words in Bangladeshi and Mo.
আমি তোমাকে অনেক ভালোবাসি.
Exactly. He says, I love you so much. You're my
exactly
friend.
what I said.
All right. So you get, I think the recording started already, but I'm gonna go like if we started here. Mr. Alan Ogando, I was just with your dad just a few minutes ago. We're going to happy hour after this. So are you joining or are you joining us or no? He didn't invite you.
He didn't invite me.
By the way, who doesn't know each other here? Did you guys meet already? Do you guys know who each other is? Raise your hand if you're an intern, if you're in the intern program. So if you are in college, you should be in the intern program, by the way. So that's what it is. If you are not in college, you graduated already, you're part of the accelerator program, which is the career acceleration program. So we are having two programs at the same time, but we all meet in these master classes. And what is the difference? Well, so the difference is that the accelerators, I'm gonna accelerate their put some fire behind them, because in the next 6 weeks they'll be discussing how to take their business and their career to the next level. If they feel stuck, we're gonna talk about those things, right? And Lou, I have assigned Lou to be the program manager for the accelerators. So Lou, raise your hand. So Lou and I are gonna put the pedal to the metal and make sure that everybody knows that we all help each other in our career. So we're gonna have some frank discussions in our breakout rooms and in some of the appointments that we'll have together. Okay, because we are gonna accelerate our careers and our businesses. Okay, and we're gonna have a master plan and we're gonna put it in execution before the end of this summer. Okay, and then the rest are in the intern program. So the intern program is divided into two phases, right? One of them is this leadership master classes that you guys have, which I don't know if you know, but if you complete the 6 master classes, you're gonna get a very nice leadership certificate that is going to be about different topics that we will be discussing, right? And you'll have access to Mo Hassan's amazing AI certificate as well. Mo, you wanna talk a little bit about that? He was here before.
I'm here. I just needed to find the unmute button. Yeah,
Oh,
so
there he is.
we have a AI practitioner certificate. That's an optional certificate available for those of you that are interested in enhancing your professional skills with AI. As you know, artificial intelligence continues to be one of the most in-demand skill sets that's available right now in the marketplace. And so throughout this program, you'll have an opportunity to participate in extra AI specialty, right? And this way you can demonstrate to your future employers that you have real AI competency as well as experience completing AI projects. So we'll share more about that as the program continues. Thanks.
And by the way, so Mo, also, you want to share a little bit about your book?
I'm very fast on the mute, so pardon me. So I wrote a new book teaching about a new methodology in large language models and how to do machine learning without writing code. It's probably one of the most important skills on planet Earth right now. So I wrote a new book called The Last Human Generation. And if you have an Amazon Kindle Unlimited account, you can read it for free. And it's also available in paperback and hardcover on Amazon right now, and more sites coming soon. But this methodology is fully explained in the book. And for those of you that are looking to greatly accelerate your AI skills and abilities, this is going to bring you not just up to speed, but propel you into the future and teach you skills that very few people on the planet have. So the book is called The Last Human Generation. And my name is Mo Hassan. And that's what the cover looks like to help you find it.
And by the way, Mo's company, Into Power, is a sponsor of Apprentice Worldwide. He has contributed to some of our conferences and as well provides some free resources. He does this for a living, by the way. He gets paid by companies to speak and do all these things, but he's doing this thing for us. So I appreciate you and all you do for us. So thank you, Into Power, as well. Okay, so let me talk about what's going to happen in the next 5 weeks. If everybody's worried about their internship, okay? Everybody that signed up that was somebody here is gonna have an internship, okay? Or you're gonna be paired up in a project with a mentor. So you don't have to worry about it. If you want to put something in your resume, you can. So the purpose of these meetings are for you to network and learn. Most importantly, network, by the way. So these people that are here are executives that are senior executives in their companies. Your mentors are senior executives in their companies. They don't have time to waste, but they have separated 6 weeks to hang out with you and teach you a few things. Some of you are going to work in projects with them, which are going to be super cool. You're going to talk to them, to the mentors about that. And some of you are going to take some courses or some practicum, right? So if you're studying finance, you're going to have a finance professor, engineering professor. That's how we're going to move your knowledge forward. So, and we have a methodology that we've used in the past 6 years that if you follow it, you will be successful. And I put it in your chat. By the way, I don't know if you noticed in your WhatsApp chat, we put the methodology, okay? So for you guys that are not in the WhatsApp chat, make sure that you WhatsApp me so that I can add you. If not, I'm gonna put it in our app. By the way, did you guys know that we launched our app last week? So Apprentice Worldwide has an app in the App Store. And soon, I believe in the next couple of days, it's gonna be in the Google Play Store. So there, everybody can sign up there. And I have a section there called Masterclasses, where I'm also gonna put all the material that we'll share in the next 6 weeks, including the some plans that I have for you guys, okay? So let's talk about the, let me see if I can share with you the, what's gonna happen in the next 6 weeks, okay? Hold on a second. You know, if you can see my screen.
Yes.
Hold on one second. All right, who can see this?
Yes.
All right.
I can
so-
see it.
Can you guys see it? Okay. Can you guys mute yourself for 2 seconds? All right. So this is what we're going to be discussing. So, by the way, this is an estimate. You don't have to be that perfect with it. Remember, what you're building is skill sets to be able to talk to executives. This is important, right? But I want you to make sure that you do not talk about everything in one meeting. All right? This is not how you build relationships. Hey, let me talk to you about la 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 la. No, you want to build a relationship. So therefore, I will ask you to please try to follow as much as you can this process. So, and by the way, this works for anybody that not even in the intern program. I would suggest this for everybody who's meeting a mentor and wants to discuss certain things. So the first time that you meet, you're getting to know your mentor, right? So you have permission to stalk them online, of course. So you do as much research as you can about this mentor. No, so the objective is to establish a relationship and understand the mentor's professional background. It'd be nice if you know a little bit about what I've been doing in my life before we sit down and talk, so that I can be more straight up with you. So all the mentors expect that you know a little bit about them. So where would I start? LinkedIn, absolutely. YouTube, Google, right? Before you sit with your mentor, make sure that you know as much as you can about that, no? And then it says here, conduct an introductory meeting, right? And then you see it, you set clear expectations for the program in that meeting, including your goals of what you're gonna do. And the second meeting, so this applies to everybody. So the second meeting is you want to understand the industry that you guys are focused on. So Alex spoke to me about real estate. So, you on the second meeting that you talk to the mentor, let's say it's marketing. You're gonna do a understanding of what you think is happening and what are the tendencies in marketing, what are the tendencies in real estate, what are the tendencies in finance, what are the tendencies in engineering, so on and so forth, right? And then you're gonna compare that with what the mentor is gonna tell you, right? So the mentor is gonna tell you, okay, this is fine and dandy, but this is great that it's happening, but let me tell you about my 15, 20 years of experience of what's really happening, okay? And what's happening in the real world when they go to meetings and they go to events. That is very different than you hearing it and doing a ChatGPT search, okay? Oh, ChatGPT is pretty current. I'm sure the mentor uses ChatGPT as well, and they can compare and know that, whether it's true or not true, okay? So like me, I'm an expert in trade finance, and I go to every major event related to trade finance. I'm on the global board of the Trade Finance Association. Who's going to know more about trade finance? ChatGPT or me? The likelihood is that I know more of what's going to happen in the future, right? So this is important, and that's why you're going to compare with your mentor what's going to happen. The third is the company that the mentor works with, hopefully, and or a company that you want to work on, all right? That is in that industry. So for example, so I work in Banreservas, the largest Dominican bank in the US. But let's say that you want to do, you cannot work at Banreservas. You're not Dominican, you're not interested. But let's talk about the top banks in that industry. Phenomenal. I worked at Wells Fargo for 10 years, and I worked at B of A in 10 years, which is where I met Milton, who was one of the chief technology officers for the bank, by the way. So we know all these major banks. So we're going to talk about that, the reality versus what you do research about. By the way, this manual I'm going to send to you again, so you can look at it even further, but it's so you can have an idea. The other thing that the next meeting, you're going to talk about supply and demand. So what are the local opportunities? So you might think that there's a big market in real estate in Naples, Florida, right? Or in Chicago, right? So every market is different. Or you want to live in those cities. We're going to talk about what you are finding in the cities that you want to live. So I will give you an example. My brother, who was a mentor at Apprentice, Javier, he studied film, right? So guess what? He lives in Miami. Unfortunately, film in Miami is very difficult. So he has to work 20 times harder than anybody else to be able to be successful in the film industry all the way from Miami. He has been, by the way, but he has to work 3 times as much. If you want to work with Latin America, do you want to live in Idaho? Right? So these are the things that we have to consider when we're looking for opportunities. The fifth one is more about you. The mentor and you are going to talk about you. By that time, you have established a relationship. So, for example, I speak with Brisa. It's not the same thing speaking to Brisa when I met her about her, because she may have gotten a little offended if I tell her that her picture at LinkedIn sucks. So, but now she goes, oh, yeah, you're right, Hernan, you're right, right, Brisa? But you don't get that insulted because you know that I care about you and I mean it from a good side. By that time, the first time that you meet, you have a good relationship with your mentor, you can talk openly about these things. And then the last thing is, in the last meeting, we're going to discuss what you learn. And hopefully this will end up with some sort of presentation that the mentor and you can present to potential employers of yours. Okay? And he can vouch for it. Hey, let me send it to all these people so you can get to know my intern and what he worked on. So by that time, imagine a senior executive of a bank sending you to different banks, and this is my intern, and I vouch for him. Big deal, right? And so, and if you don't think it's a big deal, to me, it is a big deal. I didn't have that. I had to rely on my own wits to do it. Not that you guys are not witty, but I'd rather save some time for you guys if you build relationships, right? So this is what we're gonna do. By the way, I have your assignments. I'm gonna mention them real quick for the interns. Write it down if it's you. And talk to me later on about your mentor. I'm gonna send an email later on to you and your mentor so you can connect. So write this down. Abril, you have Mo Hassan. Mo Hassan, Abril, you know who it is, right? Alan Ogando, you have Carlos Harding. Remember that name. He's the CEO of a finance company in Miami. All right. Alondra Mia, you have Gabby Martinez. who has a finance company in Puerto Rico. Janice Colom. You have Carlos Harding as well. Interesting. Giancarlo Rodriguez, you have Matias Calzada. He's not here today. Leah, I know you're working with Mo, but you're also going to have Ed Bermudez, who's the head of global banking for Wells Fargo. Just because you matched up with him. Lorena is going to be with Carrie Moore. You know Carrie Moore, Milton. Interestingly enough. Miriam Haruna is going to be with Uriel Bedoya, who's in a fintech. Nanuska with Monica Onisek. Monica's birthday was today, so I don't think she can make it. But Nanushka, make sure that you talk to him. Nargnes, I saw her here somewhere. Are you here?
Hi, I'm here. Yeah.
You're going to be with Chris Cacciatore from First American Bank in Chicago. He is
awesome.
an associate of apprentice. He's been with us for like 4 or 5 years. You matched up with him very nicely, so it's going to be a great experience. Nico, you're going to be with Andy Newton, who's the owner of a real estate firm, real estate funding company. Sofia Lopez. Sofia here? I don't know if Sophia's here, but if you are, you are actually with me, Sophia. So we'll talk later on. Sophia joined the program last year, so I think I remember very well who Sophia is. And then Zainab Oladipupo is going to be with Javi Riera and Matias with Rolf Patiño. If I did not call your name, you most likely are going to be with one of my companies. It's either going to be Apprentice Worldwide Financial, or one of the assignments that I have it. One of the projects that I'm working. So we shall talk. Okay. And the ones that are accelerators, we're going to have a mastermind, hopefully in the after this for a little bit, so we can talk a little bit about what we're gonna, because we don't want to talk about our dirty secrets in public, right? But the accelerators, we're gonna talk a little bit about what's happening in our jobs, so that we can get a feel for where you're at and where you want to be. Okay, and then we're gonna have steps towards getting you there. Any questions before we start? I know I stole some time from Milton. I told you. Abril, you had a question?
No, I don't have a question. Thank you.
You didn't have a question?
I don't.
Alex, I already know that you are a real estate, and I'll tell you later on what the project is. You're gonna like it. It's actually working with me and Nico's dad.
Oh, no way. That sounds awesome. Thanks.
By the way, where's your dad, Nico? Is he around? Call him up. Tell him that I said that he needs to meet Alex, and he's gonna help us in our real estate project. By the way, Nico is also gonna help us out. I can't hear you. Not working. The answer is, so somebody asked me if you can be in both programs. The answer is, if you graduated already, you want to gain experience, you don't want an internship so much, right? So, but if you're in the middle, don't worry about it. We can assign a mentor. We just have to figure it out. I gave priority to the interns because they're in college and their parents are like bugging them. What are you doing this summer? I know Ignacio is bugging Nico a lot, and Henry is bugging Alan. So I gotta get you guys working on stuff. ¿Qué más? Any other question? So if you have not been assigned, don't worry about it. you're gonna be probably working with me in one of the projects. And if you are an accelerator, meaning if you graduated already, we're gonna work on a mastermind with Lou, me, and you guys. We're gonna have a plan of to make sure that your career is accelerated to the next level in the next 5 weeks. Okay, Carla, you too. I have you in my sights. All right. Without further ado, guys, I want to introduce to you this great friend of mine. I've known Milton since the year probably 2008 or 9. So he came to me through an acquisition from that Bank of America did of a bank in Chicago named LaSalle Bank. And Milton used to run everything that every corporation uses to move money around the world. It was Milton's creation. It's a product called Cash Flow. And of course, when we met, we became close friends. He's Puerto Rican, I'm Puerto Rican. But most importantly, I am passionate about technology and doing business. And so is Milton. And since then, we started this great relationship. Milton is one of the founding members of Apprentice Worldwide as well. So Milton started with me from the very beginning. Him and his wife have been hosts to many events, including hosting our team in Chicago for a couple of times. But most importantly, Milton eats and breathes technology. He has a channel on YouTube, EVP Man. He has his own fintech company and is a consultant to many global companies. He was in the board of advisors for Microsoft and runs the digital channels for the largest startup banking operation, which is Silicon Valley Bank. And by the way, Silicon Valley Bank is part of First Citizens, and it is no longer the old Silicon Valley Bank. It's a renewed Silicon Valley Bank, and guess what? Milton's operation is the one that the bank enjoys the most, which is working with all these startups from around the world. But today he's going to talk to us about. Last week we talked about the human advantage with Andres. What skill sets you need for to survive the AI revolution, but we're twisting it. And I asked Milton to tell us how we can lead with AI and what he's seeing in the market. So without further ado, Milton Santiago.
Yep. Hey, thanks, Hernan. So guys, I wanted to start things out and just give you a little bit additional background on how I use AI, because AI is something that for some is scary. For some, it's very empowering. And for some, it could lead to many mistakes, right? Especially if you don't know how to use AI. And I thought I'd play something that's kind of fun. We'll see how performance works out on the network. But I'm sure you guys have seen you guys seen on YouTube all the Bigfoot shorts that people are making with AI? Can I see some heads nodding? I made one for us today. Let me go ahead and share it. I'll play it, and we'll see how well it does.
Should you use AI to grow your career? I sure did. Now let me show y'all how I use AI to keep me ahead of the game. Over the years, I've worked with all kinds of new tech, and no matter how I try, it didn't work as I expected. Learn from my examples, or you'll end up crispier than campfire bacon, buzzing like a beehive in a banjo case, and more rattled than a snake in a paint mixer. Nothing like some old-fashioned friction, folks. Gonna get hotter than a possum in a pepper patch. Well, that sparked a reaction. All right, y'all, time to get lit, caveman style. Whew. This is harder than it looks. I reckon I've been doing it all wrong. AI ain't the boss, it's the helper. Treat it like an assistant, not a replacement. That's how this old furball stays ahead. From eager to epic fail to humble wisdom, tech means nothing without know-how and works best with a little common sense.
So I thought about this because I actually was working with a global company. I still am working with them a couple weeks ago. They're outside of the US. And one of the biggest challenges they had as a company was we have great products. We very well valued. It's a startup, but a mature startup, 200 people size. And the challenge that they had is that no one really knows about their product. So think about this for a second. You can have the best idea in the world, but if no one knows about it, is it even an idea? Does it even exist? And as I do my rounds talking with venture cap investors, founders, investors, because you even have founders that are serial founders that invest in other companies, I ask them, what is the biggest challenge that they have when they evaluate another company's solution to determine if they want to invest in them, if they want to partner in them, if they want to even leverage them? And they actually brought up that AI is both it's an enabler, but it's also a crutch, and it could be something that becomes a disabler. And that's because someone can have a solution that is 90% complete, and AI can come up with a solution that is 10% complete, and you can't tell the difference. You really can't tell the difference. So as I was working with this company and really looking at some of the challenges that they had, I'm not an expert in their field in any way, right? I have a lot of experience, as Adnan had mentioned, but I find myself to be very well-rounded. And one of the things that I really liked about this video, and there was more parts to it, I just wanted to keep it short for time. And I talked to a CEO about this. He and I were comparing AI tools that we used, and my wife, who's not here right now, basically said, "Is that not cheating?" And that was a really good question, because she says, "Is AI cheating?" And as this CEO and I were talking about this, we just asked ourselves, we were joking and said, if you were to do golf, let's say if you are a golfer, if you are a tennis player, if you are a runner, think about any kind of sports. If you've never run in your life wearing the best gym shoes for running, does that make you a runner? If you've never golfed in your life and you get the best, most expensive golf club you can find, does it make you the best golfer? And we kind of chuckled and we said that it really doesn't. These things are tools. These things are enablers, but you still need core skills and you still need core abilities. And that's what AI is. So my view on AI is how can you leverage AI to catapult your career? But how do you also do it in a way where you don't get in trouble, because AI can hallucinate, AI can give you misinformation, and AI needs to be viewed as if it was your personal assistant. My wife sees me in my office. My studio behind me, all the lights that you see, this is kind of like my podcast studio. And my wife is a realtor, and she also runs a small business, and she sits on the other side of this desk. And she will hear me conversing with my AI. I have multiple AIs that I have tuned for my specific needs for specific roles. And she'll hear me conversing with the AI as if it was a real person. Think Tony Stark and Jarvis, right? And I'll basically ask my AI to complete certain tasks. And once I complete the task, I even ask my AI to convert it in different languages. I don't speak Portuguese, but my AI can write really well Portuguese. And I speak Spanish and I write Spanish, but guess what? I don't have the time to do that. So I can have my AI do all these conversions for me. And I find myself sending emails out that are trilingual, German, English, and Spanish. Think of those of you who speak multiple languages. How much effort would it take for you to write an email, translate it, and then create 3 versions of the same email in the same email for 3 different parties that don't have a primary language that they speak, because they're multilingual and they're more comfortable in German, they're more comfortable in Spanish, and someone may be more comfortable in English. This is what I'm talking about. Now think about when you receive an email like that, the kind of credibility and the kind of power that gives you when they receive the message. And that's what I'm talking about when it comes to AI. I'm going to bring up a presentation, and I'm going to show you all what I would call, my wife would say, all the cheating I've been doing, right? How I've been leveraging AI to gain an advantage. Because I truly believe that AI, no one will lose their job from AI, right? If you know how to use AI. And I'm going to give you one more example. Over 100 years ago, there was technology that was invented that could have been a threat to society. For example, let's talk about the printing press. Before the printing press, books were written and with scribes. People actually wrote them down. And they took those writings and then they wrote more and more and more. And in order for you to have a book in your home, you had to be wealthy. You had to be rich, right? And as you think about this, you may be thinking 100, 200, 300 years ago. But I'm talking about even in my lifetime, there was a time with having an encyclopedia in your home. I don't know if Adnan and maybe some of the other older folks that are here on the phone remember Encyclopedia Britannica, right? If you had an encyclopedia in your home, that was a sign of wealth because the actual encyclopedias were really expensive. Now, and that's because of the information, the curation, and the creation of it. When the printing press was invented, can you imagine how many people lost their jobs? Think about how many people who were dependent on the scribes. What happened to all those writers, those people who would copy the books, right? Those jobs changed. But the actual invention of the printing press made books accessible to everyone. And that's what AI is as well. So let me show, I'm going to share with you two decks, two slides. And these slides were created using AI. And I want to share with you some of the areas that I would say that AI, that has a good fit for AI, right? So, and I'm going to share with you the program that I did this in. I'm going to go ahead and go to the very top of this deck so that you guys can see it. And the first thing I'm going to say is AI, this deck is not pretty, right? But I wasn't looking for sexiness. I was looking for context and content, right? And I literally went into an AI and I asked it, how can AI upgrade my brain? And what I want you to look at is how much content it pulled out and how relevant this content is and how you can use it yourself. And the program that I use is a program called Manus AI. It's MANUS AI, and it's right in the bottom of that slide. Can you guys see my slide? Can I see a nod if you can you see it? Yeah, I see some nods. All right, cool. So, it gave me some background on what AI is, right? Which we already know. It basically talks about different ways that AI works. And then this is the place that I said, this is exactly what I want, because this is how I use AI. I use AI for memory augmentation, to remember things. And I will tell you, I was having a conversation with some engineers. We were talking about agentic AI, and we were talking about different types of AI that I'd never heard of before in my life, right? This is like really, really advanced. This company was working on AI in the early 90s. This company was able, using computers that were available in the 90s, was able to park a semi-truck using AI. And AI wasn't a thing, right? So they've been doing AI for a very long time. And the neural engines that they have, the language that they had was well above what I knew. And keep in mind, I was not working with them because I was working with them because I was an AI expert. That's not the expertise that they were looking for. They were struggling with their presence. They were struggling with the fact that no one knows them. So I asked them to give me a presentation about their product and how did they pitch their product. It was a go-to-market conversation. And what I was doing as I was seeing these acronyms that I'd never understood, as I was seeing these words on the screen that I don't use, I was using AI to augment myself in that call. And when I was asking them questions, because of my rapid fingers, because I'm really, really fast with my hands when it comes to texting, and I was both using multiple AI models, I came across as someone who knew their business really well. And I came across as someone who was trustworthy. Now, keep in mind, my intention was not to misrepresent myself as being an AI expert, but I was asking the appropriate questions about their product and how their product should be positioned. And I was trying to make sure I understood it well. And they were, to say impressed was one thing, but to say that they were like blown away, they were, because I was using AI for that. I also used AI for what you see here, which you could do too, is for cognitive offloading, right? And I use this all the time. Adnan and I share a tool. I was part of one of my other personas as a YouTube content creators is I get access to new technology well before it's available on the street. I have technology in my home that no one has seen yet. No one has access to it yet. And I've been using it for months and testing it out and reviewing it. A lot of it has AI. And I reviewed a solution that Adnan happened to show me that he carries in his pocket. He says, "Hey, have you heard about this?" And I goes, "Yeah, I'm one of the founding reviewers or testers of this solution. And there's a lot of my feedback in that product, which I'm going to share with you. And I'm going to put a link because as a young adult, as someone who's starting your career, this is probably, if there were all things, right? And understanding that it's not cheap, but if you were able to save, if you're able to put money aside, this would be the tool that I would recommend you get because it will make you smarter and it will give you the ability to do this cognitive offloading. So in these meetings that I participate in, I'm able to provide diligent notes, information. I have to what one of the persons said, "Dude, do you have instant recall?" And I laughed and I said, "Yes, I do." But it's using AI, right? So cognitive offloading is an enormous, I would say, opportunity and under-leveraged feature within AI. Okay. Now, the other thing that AI does for you is it helps you find balance. And I this to me connected immediately. Give you kind of guys a sense. I wake up and I don't really promote it, but just to give you kind of a sense why I say this gives me balance. I wake up at around 5:40 every morning and I go to sleep at 12 midnight every day. So I get 5 hours of sleep. Now I've been doing this and my body actually works this way since I was, in my early 20s. I went to school at night. My parents weren't wealthy. They didn't pay for my college, so I had to go to college at night. And I also had to hold a full-time job. So I went to school from 6 to midnight. And then at midnight, I drove home. I got home at 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning from school. And then I basically had to wake up the next day to go to work, which was about 6 o'clock. So my entire, think about 5 to 6 years as I was going to school at night, I really didn't have a lot of sleep. I became very accustomed to 5 hours is what my body can take. And whatever I took after 5 hours, I don't feel good. I get headaches. This is what it is. But I get really good sleep for the time I get. So for me, finding balance is another key opportunity. And this is an opportunity for you as well. I do a lot of my research. And Nan said it. There's no one in the industry that's going to know more about Adnan's line of business, trade, finance, all these things than Adnan will. There's no one that knows more. I have over 30 years of building technology solutions, full stack. I have over 100 patents. I am known in the industry for creating leading global award-winning technologies. I've been blessed to be able to create high-performing teams, leaders that work in some of the top Fortune 100 companies in the world, and I don't have time, right? So I leverage AI as my assistant. It is my research assistant. I use the concept of having like a Jarvis. I literally have about 45 different AI models, all of them named, and all of them have a specific function. And depending on what I want to do, I will pull the appropriate AI that will help me with that specific task. Things as simple as replying to emails, things as simple as reading information for me and then giving me the cliff notes, because I don't need to know all the details because my experience, I have all the background that I need personally and professionally for it, but I'm just looking for what's unique, right? And also what's differentiating. So I have several AI models that help me with this. And this is something that I would encourage you to consider as well when you think about AI and how you would use it. These 3 pieces were, to me, were gold when I did this presentation, right? And here are some other things. I use AI to learn things and to come up to speed faster than I would traditionally. If I had AI when I was your age, guys, quítate que ahí voy, is what you would say in Spanish, because I would be a threat and a power. And if I think about how much it took me to get to where I'm at, how much effort it took, it was long, it was painful. And when I look at what I'm able to do with AI and how I'm able to present and how I'm able to come across and how I'm able to research, it's completely transformational. I know more, I recall more, and I'm faster. And bottom line is I am more, and you will be more as well, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this deck because this was just one of the slides. I'll share this and done with whatever model or however you guys go about sharing it. But this is one of the things I wanted to share, one of these decks. And I want to go and I want to show you some practical examples of what I use AI. And then I have another slide deck that I want to show you. So we're going to go ahead into this application. This is an invite-only application. I probably have some invites that I'll share with you. And not watch my time because I don't know how I'm doing on time. But I'm going to go ahead and bring in this browser. And I'll just ask again, if you guys can just give me a nod, let me know that you see my screen. Can you guys see my screen? Can I get some nods?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. All right, perfect.
Yes.
So Manus AI is a great tool. I'm going to show you a couple screens here, but I'm going to show you Manus first. And I want to show you the deck, how I went about making this deck. And this is like if you're doing something at work and you want to be able to become an expert at it, you want to be able to do quick research. This is an incredibly powerful tool. And what I like about it is that it's free. There is a pay version and there's a free version. You'll notice up here, these are the points, like the tokens I have. And what ends up happening is it refreshes my tokens, 300 tokens every single day. So this is a great tool for you. Now, I asked the question, should business professionals, right, fear or embrace AI? And, that was my basic question, right? And look at all the information that I came up with. Look at each one of these bullet points, 7 bullet points, right? And it also then created some slides for me. I asked it another question, and you saw what we were talking about today. How can AI tools upgrade your brain? And not only did it do all my research, but I'm going to show you something else it did. It created a full deck, right? This is one of the ones that I'm going to show you in a couple seconds, right? And it just made this completely for me. Think about work-life balance. Think about being able to find the information you need and how fast this thing is just doing it for you. So this is, again, is that Manus solution. And I can ask it questions. I can have, different clarifying questions as we go through. I also then was doing research for a company, and I asked it some questions. I basically asked this: how can an AI application be applied in an insurance industry? And I also need a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, and opportunities, right? And look at what I just asked it. I said, create a report that shows how AI could be used to solve business needs in insurance. Show published references and include quotes for each. Include a SWOT type analysis and show practical use cases that are relevant. All references should be 2024 and 2025. Okay? So I want you to look at that prompt for a couple seconds, and because this is kind of like one of my key secrets of how I reduce how much time I'm researching the AI answers, because as an assistant, even as I have employees, even when my employees provide me with content, I double check what they produce. I review it. With an AI, it's the exact same thing. I have to make sure that the content is factual. The way I'm able to do that is by using this prompt. I ask it to give me references and quotes. So if there is a fact, if there's detail inside of this analysis, I can always go back to the actual source and confirm it. I also have the AI quote a paragraph of that specific article so that I can see that it is in context. And when I provide this output to a client, prospect, or friend, I'm telling you, I'm credible, super credible, because they see Forrester, they see Gartner, they see E&Y, they see PwC, they see every industry, professional or agency that's done this as well. So this, if you were to think about a model prompt, I would say this is one of the best prompts that helps me when it comes to doing any kind of research, right? Include the references, target the time frame, and then make sure that it shows each one of these in the practical use cases. I'm going to show you another example of what I do. And in this one, we're going to go into ChatGPT. Let's see if I have this one right here. Now, this is a real use case. I can't scroll to the very top because the company name shows up. But I was talking to a company and they were looking at AI and they were concerned about, how do we onboard more AIs into our business? And should we use AI? What's the benefit of doing AI? And one of the things that I found as I speak to companies about AI is that there's a fear about AI. Everybody thinks about the Terminator, thinks that that the machine's going to take over, and everybody's fearful of their jobs. And depending on who you're talking to in a company, if that decision maker or if that influencer fears AI, you're never going to get anywhere because they're thinking about their own job, they're thinking about being eliminated, and they're thinking about something they don't understand. So this is an actual executive memo that I had AI create for me for a CEO and owner of a $20 billion AI company, right? This is a company that was AI first and was trying to figure out how did they pitch their solution. And notice what we have here. The first key message that I tailored with this AI was that when they communicate this product to whatever company they're talking to, that they have to view the AI agent as a human being, that they're onboarding a new employee. That employee just happens to be an AI. It's not a real physical person, but treat them as one. Think about AI as an augmentation, not a replacement, right? Now, I want you to recall what I said a couple seconds ago. I said that sometimes, many times, companies fail to place AI solutions because the person who's making the decision is fearful for their jobs. Position AI as augmentation, empowering you to do more, not replacing you, right? And then what we said is like, how do you position this? Now look at the next piece of this research. Humans take 1 to 6 months to get full productivity. Notice how I have reference, clickboarding, time to productivity benchmarks, credibility. AI productivity within days and configuration, PwC 2025, Global AI Jobs Barometer, credibility. Also, research, right? Cost savings. Humans require salaries, benefits, training, and onboarding investments. Deal, onboarding statistics 2024. AI, one-time configuration with incremental costs. Texas Society of CPAs, how generative AI is impacting the profession. You see how powerful this research is? And I'm telling you, if I had this at my fingertips at your age, imagine how credible you'd become and how you could use this as a tool. Not only this, but check this out. It gave me quotes, it gave me quality, and what do executives love? They love tables. They love battle cards. You may not know what a battle card is, and I'll tell you, I asked the AI, it says, what's the best way to show this for a C-level person? And it gave me 5 examples. And it said right here, here's a table. Now I can show someone at the very top level who will look at this and say, okay, what's the value proposition here? Well, look at recruitment takes 41 days on average to hire someone. Yeah, that's pretty true. Instant deployment after the solution is selected. What's the source? Average time to fill, 2023. Do you see the context, guys, of what we're talking about here? How, from a tooling, you don't have to be a programmer. You don't have to have insight. What you have to have is common sense. And you have to ask the right questions. So if you basically take the time and ask yourself, what type of questions do you want the AI to answer? How should the AI present the information? You're going to be able to create views like this, right? And now, this is where I basically got the home run. Supporting industry quotes. AI is associated with a 4-fold increase in productivity, growth, in high exposure jobs, and a 56% wage premium for those leveraging AI. PwC 2024. AI is transforming not just operations, but talent strategy, requiring organizations. And now think about like when we were going out, we would travel north, all Latin America doing a pitch. Imagine if you and I had this, right? When we walked into a client. I remember Hernan and I went into a client that was called Concha y Toro. Remember that one? Wine company.
Yeah.
In Chile.
Yeah, Viña Conchitoro.
Yeah, right?
Retro wine.
Imagine if we could provide quotes that were specific to their industry without having to do the kind of research and legwork that we'd have to do. We would have to have a BA, someone doing this analysis. It would take them weeks. This took seconds. right? And here's my recommendation. And just look at how powerful this is. Position AI onboarding as a natural extension of current onboarding practices, not a technical hurdle. A visual side-by-side comparison will reduce organization apprehension, humanize the AI onboarding journey, highlight, etc. So this is the power, right? This is the power of AI. And this is why you should be learning how to use it. So if we go back to the Bigfoot commercial that I did, I was using funny examples of when Bigfoot was trying to start a fire with flint. He didn't know how to use the flint and he caught himself on fire. Bigfoot was trying to use sticks to start a fire. Did he know how to use the sticks? They didn't work, right? There are countless examples of people trying to use things, but they don't understand how to make it work. And because they don't know how to make it work, they fail. So AI does that. And I'm going to go ahead and show you one other tool. And I'm going to put a link for this. And I want to show you again how I cheat to get my message across. And Nan, you use Plod, right? Yep. I've been using Plod. This is the one company. Go ahead. Would you say something? There you go. You have it in your hand. And Plod is the best assistant that you can ever have. And I'm going to put a link on there. I think it's going to be for this Amazon Prime. It's going to be I think about 20% off. So I'm going to put the link in the actual team so you guys can check it out. But I asked right before this meeting, I said, how can AI help me in my career? Look at how powerful this is. And this is all factual, right? This little AI that fits in your pocket is going to allow you to be present in your meetings because it's going to record all the meeting for you. It's going to provide you instant summary and actions. And not only will it provide you summaries and actions, but it's also going to give you the ability to ask it questions. It has those smart features that I talked about. It's multilingual, 112 languages. So if you speak and more comfortable in Chinese, Portuguese, any language, you could review it in your language, but then position it in the language that you need to communicate it in. Right? And it's going to give you one of those core banner messages that we saw earlier. It's going to give you that life balance that we talked about. It's an incredible tool. And what I love about it as well is that while Hernan has a little recorder in his hand, you don't even need the little recorder. You could use your iPhone or you use your Android phone to record the meeting, record your thoughts, right? Because I use it also. I'll do a brain dump. If I was with a meeting with someone, I'll just talk about what that meeting was about. I'll talk about the things that are the follow-ups, and it will basically create action items, follow-ups for me. And I'm able to send that to clients. I'm able to send that to prospects. I'm able to send that to team members. And I come across as like, holy crap, this guy is super thorough, super engaged, right? Because I was present and I used the AI. So, got it. So, what was that? I see you, Hernan. I see you. We're done. So let me stop there. I'll send you guys the decks. There's a lot of tools that are in the deck, right? I have a list of productivity tools that you can check out. You know, Notion, AnyDo. There's a lot of different tools that you'll be able to check out and figure out which is the best one for you. But I think that Plod and just understanding the kind of prompts that create credibility will help you guys as you are navigating your careers.
All right.
Back to you.
Yeah. It's a lot to think about, right? We don't have to be coding experts or technology experts to understand that the tools are just for us to grab and do amazing things with them with a very little investment, right? I talked about Plod. He talked about Plod. I've had that for a year already, the last time I met you, I was in Chicago, probably a year and a half, and this has been a game changer. I run a bank, so obviously I don't want people to see them recording and you just press a little button, you're there, and then at the end I just summarize it and send a memo. My bosses are like, whoa, and then it's doing amazing. But let me ask you two questions. So, and you brought me back when you said about some solutions that go back into a table. I remember you and I discussing all these advancements in technology, and all of them ended up with an Excel spreadsheet. Remember that? That you did the automation. Sometimes we meaning common folks that are not technology experts take for granted the fact that we have to understand what the people want and then give them that. Because sometimes we just build out solutions. Milton, and we talked about it for a length. People build solutions, spend millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. And I know you have hundreds of millions of dollars in budget that you spend in your bank, but sometimes it's a simple thing, right? And these tools allow us to do these simple things, no? Not like the data lake activity that you used to do. Remember that? Imagine the advancement now. So what advice can you give people about common sense use of AI? Where do people should start? I mean, obviously ChatGPT, but
yeah, I think ChatGPT is a good start, but there's a lot more than just ChatGPT out there. And the interesting thing is that ChatGPT will introduce you to other solutions. Many times I will ask ChatGPT, what are alternatives for this? And it will literally give me a list of AIs that I could use, right? An experiment. But the key is, if you've watched any sci-fi movie, right, they'll say that math is a universal language. You guys have heard that before? They'll say math is a universal language. In business, Excel is a universal language. Everybody, before it used to be Lotus many years ago, some of you will never even know what that is, but Excel is a universal language. So most of these tools, if you ask the question, the research, all the content, it will give it to you in Excel. But it comes down to this. It comes down to when you're working with AI is making sure that you're asking the right question. And many of you may ask yourself, well, Milton, how do I know what the right questions are? Right? And imagine if you were talking to a mentor, or if you're talking to someone, you would say, what questions should I ask? Well, you can ask that of AI as well. So the biggest mistake I see when people are using AI in prompts is that they assume that giving just one general statement is enough. What I showed you some specific, some paragraph prompts, right? But I have, and I'm gonna share my screen really quick to show you. This is in ChatGPT, right? So this is in my ChatGPT. I have multiple models, and these are all models that I have that are specific to what I do. So I'm going to move over back to ChatGPT, and I'm going to show you. This is something that you could do, and it's not hard. I got to find it. Where is it? And let me go back into ChatGPT here. It's not really hard, but I want to show you on the side. Look at what I have on the side. All these are GPTs that I've created that are specific for specific roles, specific things. I have, my wife has an Amazon store. I have an Amazon lister that I created with the criteria and the conditions that I want. I have someone that reviews my emails and replies, right? I have someone that creates videos for me, helps me with all the scripting of the videos. I have someone that works with colors. This is one of my other AIs, right? And this is someone who creates SEO content for me. Her name is Lily. And you'll notice that it says by Milton Santiago. Lily was created by me. Lily has rules. She understands the things that I need. I have Friday, here's an interesting one that Nan will relate to, and bankers. Friday is my AI when it comes to banking, interactive banking and cash management advisor. And if I ask it, what is trade? It's going to come back and break things down for me in real simple terms. And from a trade perspective, it has ingested the cash management guides, that the tests that we have to take in on. It has all those guides ingested, and I continue to provide it research and content, right? And it gives me all the information I need. So remember, I go back to that example, Nan, is focus AI as an assistant. Think about, what do you need? If you were to think about, I'm going to make a team, this is my virtual team. I have assistants that do all these things for me, and each of them has a specific skill set. If I need one that knows how to write APIs, by Milton Santiago. These are all my APIs. I want to know, how do I write an API to do a wire transfer? It's going to go ahead and not only is it going to look up all the information, I'm going to say yes, but it's going to write the API for me and give me, based on all the conditions that I have, everything that I would need. And I'm going to say, go ahead, code. Now imagine me talking to someone, how I can freak them out really quick, because now I have all this stuff done. But this is, I took the time to think about what type of team do I need? So what I would encourage, another secret or none that I would say for this team is, as you're thinking about your career, if you were to think about an all-star team, what would that all-star team look like? Who do you want to be on your team? So no, go ahead. So just think about that. If you're not a strong writer, create an AI that is strong in writing. If you're not a good person in finance or with math, and you're good but not great, get something that does it. If you're not good with creative writing, just augment yourself with all this talent, this virtual talent, and I'll tell you, you will elevate yourself beyond anything else. Literally, if I'm going to talk to someone and it's a topic that I don't know, I'll create an AI model, very simply, that is an expert in that field, so that I'll use it to educate myself, and then I'll also use it to educate whoever I'm working with. And I come across as being, holy crap, where did this guy come from? And it's because I know how to use AI. You will not lose your job to AI, but you will lose your job to someone who knows how to use AI. And if you come across me, you'll lose your job to me because I know how to use it. That makes sense, guys? Just practical usage. It's just, I have my wife. So one of the things and I was talking about, my wife, she has an Etsy store. And just to give you a sense of the practical nature of AI, using AI, she took an Etsy store in one calendar year to over 7,000 sales, 6 figures in revenue. Right? Never, ever having an Etsy store. It helped us identify the market. It helped us with the marketing. It helped us with every aspect of it. And she has a thriving business that just because she knows how to use AI tools. So the tool that Adnan was talking about is, I basically trained a model that will basically create a 2-week marketing campaign for any topic that you ask it. Now it's going to ask you all these questions, but it will create a 2-week marketing campaign that's keyword optimized, first key, second key, and third key, and it's going to go ahead and give you everything that you need, text, prompts, pictures, for Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, whatever you need. So that's the power of AI, guys. Super powerful.
Milton,
yeah,
we could be talking here for hours.
For sure.
Hours and hours. Obviously, I have the privilege to be Milton's friend. So obviously, we hang out, we drink beer, we have fun, and we get to talk about AI and life and all these things. Back to the real world. I wanted to show my background. I'm in the bank, but I wanted to let you guys know. Again, I don't want to for you guys to forget that the most important thing that we're doing here, yes, we're learning a lot, but we're also networking. So make sure that we connect with each other, right? Build those relationships. Like I built a relationship with Milton, but it took me years, right? Years. And I called Milton, hey, I need help. And in 2 seconds, he appears. But it's because we know each other for years. Milton, where can they follow you and get to know you a little more?
I'm in social media a lot. So find me Instagram. My handle is, and I'll put it in the group. This is my handle, and you'll be able to find me out there. I'm also on LinkedIn. I don't really post a lot on LinkedIn anymore. I do it, but not too much. I'll probably do more on LinkedIn. But you find me on social media. I'm very active when it comes to AI, right? But my focus on AI is more about the practical use, the human aspect of how AI can empower you. I look at AI as assisted intelligence, not artificial intelligence. Assisted versus artificial, even though it's the same.
I like it. We have time for 1 or 2 questions. Anybody? Shoot, whoever speaks first.
Hey, Milton, it's Mo. I'll go ahead and ask. What's next for you in the world of AI? Like, what's the thing that you haven't talked about that you're working on in your secret lab?
I love agentic AI. I think agentic AI is the scariest, but the most powerful thing. When you can set an AI model, as you know, to just be as autonomous as it possibly can and solve problems, it is both scary and it's also exciting. You know, the nature of agentic is just like, I thought I would never see it in my lifetime. Let me put it to you that way. Right. So that's what's got me most excited. I was talking to a company, just to give you guys an example of how it can impact humanity. I was talking to the companies that's in the pharma industry. They said that when you're doing practical, if you're going to create a protein for any kind, to solve any kind of thing, it would take years to create proteins. Now it takes months to create proteins because of AI, right? So creating medicine, creating, again, any kind of from a biology perspective or from a science perspective, it's accelerated so much. And I'm really excited about what it can do for humanity, how it could make our lives easier so that we can spend time on things that matter and not in the things that we have to do. There's a lot of stuff I have to do that I hate, and there are things that I love to do, but I can't. And I want to spend more on my love and less on the things I don't care for.
Very cool. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Guys, I'm going to give you a little tip. If you connect with Milton on LinkedIn, right, and you do it within the next half hour, he'll accept you, and then you can ask him more questions on the chat, and he'll get back to you when he has time. Just because I know there's going to be a lot of questions.
Yeah, get plotted.
One last question, but for an associate or an apprentice or an intern. Anybody else?
Hi. I have a question. I want to know if you know which AI would be best to make
Hey, hold on. Who's talking?
Alondra Mia.
Mía, pero show your face, nena. ¿Qué pasa?
I am.
No te veo. ¿Estás ahí?
See, nobody can see me?
I can't see you.
No, I've been seeing myself on the screen for this whole time.
Ah, mira, qué bien, pero no, none of us can see you. A ver, espérate, let me see.
You have to put her on focus.
Apágala y préndela de nuevo. Ajá.
Let me see. How about now?
Bueno, if somebody can see you, that's good.
Okay.
No.
Okay, anyways, but see.
Bueno, pregúntale, después mando una foto.
Yep.
Go.
Okay. But my question is, which AI would be best to make a business plan? I'm trying to create a business with a team about, it's like fintech related. So I love this whole meeting. And it's about crowd sharing. And I'm having a lot of not trouble, but I'm trying to create a very good business plan, but it's a complicated idea. I've been using ChatGPT and DeepSeek, but I think it's not ready yet.
Yeah. I use a combination of things. So I do use ChatGPT, but I do, you saw kind of like the model I do. I do a lot of reference, a lot of facts so that I can get the AI to go deeper, because if you stay too superficial, you're not going to get anything meaningful. And then what I do is I use ChatGPT, and then I put it into that Manus AI, because that application is not fast and it does much more deeper research. So those are the two that I would use. And that second application that I mentioned to you, I'm literally practically using it now to help companies with their business models, right? How do they price? How do they go to market? How do they position products? And with any startup that you're thinking about, one piece of advice that I got from a founder and also from a VC was that the company that has the strongest go-to-market model is who they fund, not the person who has the best idea. Mm-hmm. And think about how powerful that is, because a lot of people have great ideas, but very few people can execute. So if you have a strong go-to-market plan, right, then you'll have a successful product, because there's too many successful products that have no plan.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, so
By the way,
ChatGPT and Manus AI.
By the way, I'm sure Mo will also plug doing a markdown file. But the methodology you need to learn from one other video that I have, and also from Mo's book. And by the way, we'll share the link to the book, Mo, somewhere, no? Into Power book, something like that on the chat. EVP Man on YouTube. If you want to get the latest technology out there, Milton and his wife do weekly podcast and also reviews every week. So EVP Man on YouTube. He won an award from YouTube from having some of the top views as well. He's also a reporter at CES. So again, brother, I love you. Thank you, Papi. I really appreciate what you do for us. By the way, Milton is a mentor at Apprentice Worldwide. For those of you that are part of Apprentice Worldwide, he's here. He's not going anywhere, right? We get to hang out for life, which is the coolest thing. Okay? Brisa, raise your hand. All right. You guys see Brisa? Brisa is the program manager for your internship program, by the way. So Brisa is going to make sure that you guys meet during the week at some point, so that you can answer some, so you guys can get to know each other, right? And then we'll go over, if you have any questions about the internship program. But Brisa is our program manager for the intern program. And then Lou and I will stay 5 minutes with the accelerator team. So anybody who graduated college and wants to be in the accelerator program, you can stay online. So I will stop the recording. But guys, thank you very much. Next week, by the way, we are going to talk about, most likely it's on Ada Franco from Franco Consulting, opening doors, building relationships, building a reputation, and reaching out. Whoa, amazing stuff. So guys, I'll see you next Monday. Peace. We'll talk later. Gracias.
Thanks very much.
The accelerators, you can stay.
Bye, everyone. Take care, everyone.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you.
Stop the recording.